Okay, welcome to your final lesson of Module 3. Today we're going to look at the role of recovery in your long-term flexibility. So now you've learned about SMR and the techniques. Now let's have a look after training because flexibility gains is not just from SMR. If you feel that you lose your flexibility, if you feel that your muscles are constantly tight even when you're stretching and you feel sore, soreness is really important to pay attention to. So, looking at your recovery, we are going to discuss sleep, hydration, and nutrition, the science behind tissue hydration and collagen health, and the role of lactic acid, inflammation, and nitric oxide in recovery. So, we are going to look at the importance of active recovery and your mobility drill. So, making sure that your body gets the appropriate recovery because you need to progress, and we want progress, but without burnout. So recovery is essential for long-term flexibility because you want to not just lengthening the muscle, you also need to obviously strengthen them. It's training flexibility can be very taxing on your nervous system, and every time you train, you experience those micro tears in your muscle fibers, and you also apply stress on your connective tissue. So if you don't recover properly, you will keep tightening up instead of adapting. So good recovery helps your muscles relax and regenerate, your fascia to stay hydrated and pliable, and to decrease your inflammation levels. So let's have a look at tissue and collagen hydration. Why water matters? Yeah, think of your fascia like a sponge. When it's hydrated, it's soft and elastic, and when it's dehydrated, it will feel stiff. With collagen, you want to think about collagen as the main protein in your connective tissue. So the collagen fibers need a lot of hydration to function properly. That's why also SMR helps because we move these fluids around. When you're dehydrated, the collagen fibers become brittle and it reduces the elasticity. That's why as well hyaluronic acid is important and vitamin C. So tight fascia means less mobility. So how to improve? Obviously, drink plenty of water, get your electrolyte, especially if you do a lot of aerial training and a lot of magnesium, eat collagen boosting foods, and using SMR to stimulate the movement of the fluids, like I just said. SMR acts like a pump, so it helps move the fluid around through your tight fascia and it keeps your tissue hydrated. Now, let's have a look at the lactic acid and inflammation. When you train a high intensity, even in flexibility, because we do, how can I say, you remember that we do isometric hold and strength hold, yeah? So you build up the lactic acid. So it's a byproduct of your muscle exertion because it creates this glucose, it releases the glucose and then you get the lactic acid. So you have also the CRP activation, which is a C-reactive protein. It's a marker of inflammation in your body that increases after your intense training session. And nitric oxide demand is increasing because it's needed for blood flow to bring a bit for increase or improving muscle recovery. So if these aren't managed, you will feel stiff, inflamed, and your recovery will feel slow. So how SMR does help these? Well, first, lactic acid buildup during your training. If it stays trapped, you're going to start feeling stiff and also sore. So SMR step flush out the lactic acid by improving circulation and lymphatic drainage. For your CRP inflammation, when you start feeling chronic tightness and reduced flexibility, SMR helps reducing inflammation by breaking up adhesion and improving the fluid movement in your tissue, right? So the best SMR routine, obviously foam rolling after training to flush out the lactic acid, using lacrosse ball work on tight spots to stimulate circulation, working on hydration mobility drill to aid tissue recovery. And for the nitric oxide, it's a molecule that improves the blood flow and muscle recovery. So more nitric oxide means better circulation, faster healing, and improved flexibility retention. So how to boost it? Breath work is super important, especially when you train flexibility, because oxygen intake boosts the nitric oxide levels. Eating rich foods such as beets, spinach, arugula, or rocket, and dark chocolate, and do SMR and mobility work to stimulate the production of nitric oxide in the tissues. So it's a simple way to increase nitric oxide: foam roll, deep breath, and drink beetroot juice. I do kind of like beetroot, so this kind of helps as well. All right, your active recovery is your key to preventing flexibility burnout. What is active recovery? So instead of resting completely, you do low intensity movement. I think you've heard that before. So gentle mobility drill, light resistance band work, walking or cycling. And the best routine for active recovery is a 5 to 10 minute SMR, 10 minutes of mobility work, which you will find on the app as well. You'll find some easy mobility flows, hydration and breath work, some meditation. So avoiding flexibility burnout, you need to pay attention to the signs of overtraining, feeling more stiff despite stretching, decreased flexibility progress, and constant soreness of joint pain. When you feel like this, you need to start prioritizing your sleep, your hydration, and your active recovery. You need to maybe look at your cycle intensity and alternate between deep flexibility days and lighter mobility days, and using SMR and nitric oxide booster to help your body recover faster. So this is a bit sciencey what we discussed today. Hydration for fascia health, lactic acid CRP increase after training, nitric oxide and improving your circulation to speed up your recovery, and your active recovery and mobility work to keep flexibility gain. So this is also valid in your aerial training, okay? Because it's quite important to work on your recovery, especially if you also want your flexibility. Your learning activity today is to focus this week on one recovery focus, either your SMR, your hydration and collagen support, and tracking your flexibility before and after recovery work. Do they feel looser or less stiff? And compare your split depth after applying SMR and hydration consistently. So if you are someone who needs to increase the hydration level, then maybe your goal this week will be to try and keep track of your hydration levels. In the next module, we will discuss the pre-workout flexibility, so discussing the warm-up, the mobility, and the activation. So we'll look at the science behind an effective warm-up and why it boosts your flexibility, the best mobility drills to prepare, and how muscle activation prevents injury and improve your range during training so you don't get injured when you push further. I will see you in the next module. Congratulations on completing module 3.